slowly because we have to make the stops on the way. So, okay? You should be 50 fish a little further. El molei rachamim, shechein miraymim, hamsei menucha necheno, al kanfei hashchino, b'maleis hakdesh mutehirim, kizer hurakiya mazhirim, es nishmas Avram ben Yisrael, sholach le'lomai, bavur she'yitnu tzedakah badas koras nishmosai, began eden tehei, minuchos elochein, balarachamim, yasirus yeseknofav le'lomim, v'yitzrei v'tzirachayim es nishmos et nehu nachalosai, dochamishkove v'sholem, v'neimar amen. From Abe Globerman. When a person reaches the end of life, everything is as Hashem determined at the beginning of a person's life, the years that a person lives and what a person is to accomplish. But every day that we live has a purpose, has a meaning. And when the days come all together at the end of a person's life, it's like you have pieces of a puzzle that come together, and we see then a picture. The picture emerges of the person, what the person is about. And that is what, even though we come together to depart, to say farewell, and the meaning of levaya, which is the Hebrew translation, the Hebrew word for a funeral, is actually a very different kind of word than we use in English, because the word levaya means literally to escort, to go along. We use the same word when we have a guest, a visitor, and the time comes to part. If it's someone that you just meet casually, it doesn't mean very much, so you just say goodbye. But if somebody that was special, that every moment was precious, then every lasting moment is something to be savored, and we walk them along, we see them out the door, we go to the airport, whatever it may be. And so the same is also when a person's life comes to its end, so we escort them on the way to the higher world. And at that time, it's time to think about what he meant to us, Abe Globerman. He lived, thank God, many years, but he also, it's very interesting the way that a person's life, sometimes people demonstrate and show what they think, the qualities that they have, but sometimes one of the greatest qualities that there is in Jewish life is something which we find in the Talmud. It tells us that one of the key mitzvahs in the Torah is Hatznei Aleches im Hashem Elokecha, one who walks with God, but in a modest way, and not to advertise it, not to boast about it, but just has it in. We know that it's interesting, but the word Globerman has many meanings. In Yiddish, it's a word that comes originally from that. It means a person of faith, a person who is trustworthy, a person that you could rely on. And so that's something that you carry inside of yourself. And Abe was very devoted to others. He gave to his family with his whole heart, and did everything he could for his wife, Allah Shalom, for everyone in his family, and for others as well. And besides that, he also looked to be able to share some happiness. He played music and played music for others. He went to visit the people in the now it's the Simkin Center, but he went when his wife was there, he went to help others, and he used to play music for them. And it's very, very interesting because he in his own personal life had challenges, difficulties, and he had to change his career, but he did everything in a pure way, in a simple way, but a committed way. And this is what we call emunah, faith, and it's one of the most precious things that we could have. The Mishnah, famous Mishnah, the teachings in the Ethics of Our Fathers, tells us that there are 4 things that people look for in life, and often the way they go about getting it defeats their own purpose. people look for wisdom, but they don't want to hear what someone else has to say, and you can't learn if you don't listen. Then there is a person who wants to have wealth, and as much as you pursue wealth, sometimes you're never happy because you always want more. Then there's a person who wants to have covet, a person who wants to have honor and demands honor from others, but such a person doesn't earn true honor. And a person who wants to have power and exercise power for others sometimes misses the main point of being a strong person. A strong person is one who knows what his life is about, and perseveres with commitment, and that's the Gemara says, a person who is able to have the power of his own convictions and of himself is the strongest person. A person who earns covet is a person who gives covet to others. A person who honors others and tries to help others is the greatest. And a person who is rich is not the person who seeks to have more and more, but the person who is happy with his lot in life, and the person who is wise who listens. So these are all things that are important. But Abe was a person who you would never know, because he was in a way quiet, but he was a person of a lot of perseverance and a lot of devotion to others, and especially again to his family. You should have a lichtike Gan Eden. It is always best to hear words that come from someone who was closest, because as our sages tell us, dvorim hayotzim and halev, words that come from the heart, nichnasim lalev, they penetrate the heart of others. So I'd like to ask on Abe's son Jeff to share with us a few thoughts.
Thank you, everybody, for coming today. And an extremely difficult day for myself and all of my family, my brothers, my sister. Technology don't fail me now, because I wrote this speech on Friday, and I've been ad-libbing to it a little bit. But all I can tell you is, and first of all I'm going to start off, is that the man I looked up to most in my life has left us. My father never complained and provided for his family without question. It did not matter. Money to him did not matter. What mattered to him was his family. Whether it was as a son, the way he treated his parents, his brother, his sister Faye, he was always there for people. When it was my grandparents, Murray and Sarah Lubinsky, and my uncle Frank Lubinsky, he was there like a son, never asking for anything in return. He just was there for us. And you're right, he was quiet, except when he got mad at me, which was quite often, and it being the firstborn. But you know what? Without even knowing it, the values that he had are instilled in me, and I swear to him, I'm going to honor him the way I live my life out. And I've tried to do that with my sons, and my sister and my brother have done that as well. I also want to thank my brother and sister. I've lived in Hamilton and worked in Toronto, and they've looked after my mom and dad over the number of years I've come in, but without them, I believe they've prolonged their lives, and thank you, because without them, they bore the brunt of what was going on. But a lot of things about my dad that people don't know about is, when I used to come as a kid, and I'd ask him, to play ball hockey or football with myself or my friends, he never said no. He would always be out there playing with my friends, and everybody knew that. He was always there to pick us up when we needed a ride. It could be, 12 o'clock at night from a hockey game. He didn't want us taking the bus. He was the one parent who would always be there, never said no. The most amazing thing that I witnessed is when my mother was diagnosed with dementia in 2014, my dad had a very bad hip. It impacted his mobility. He refused to get surgery for his hip. He said, "Who's going to look after Mom?" And we all looked at him and said, "Dad, we'll take care of it." We were going to put Mom in at the Simpkins Center because she couldn't look after her. No, He would not do that. Every day he was at the Simkin Center taking care of my mom. He came at noon. He left at 5 o'clock or 5:30 after he forced her to eat. And he just would never, ever, he had no quit in him. And even though he was suffering with his own health issues that nobody knew at the time, I'm eternally grateful to this man. And I'm honored to have had him for my father. You will never be forgotten and are with Mom now. And I love you. Can't believe you're gone. Rest in peace, Dad.
Before we continue, I'd like on behalf of all here to ask forgiveness from the neshama of Avram ben Yisrael. If there's anything we did during your lifetime or during the funeral, please forgive us. And now the last possible way we could give honor is called chesed shalamis, kindness of truth, because it's never to be reciprocated, and that is that we're going to participate personally in the burial by trying to put a few shovelfuls over the casket. So I'd like to ask everyone who can please step up, and we're going to put some earth over. we'll get the machine now, so we don't abandon the grave without seeing the body covered completely. So if we stand a little bit outside, I'll have to move the machine over. Sure. How are you? The book that we need help. We need help all the way to shovel. Otherwise, it's impossible to do. everyone stays around. We need a minyan for this. Acheli niftanash miat shel ki kochenes alal tirot yashkish ki vekut best of my best hakoyo and nash kochen for a bit of set lo Todah der Rabah so needs admi kol yom famous name is the catch I have to turn the page over to the other side and we have the Kaddish. I'm going to say it aloud and start going to say it with just a few lines here that are extra. I'm going to say it, you can say it with Iskadal, Iskadash, Shemei Rabah, Yomod, Yivrach, Yirusei, Amnit Malchusei, Yatzmach, Shupanei, Rei Meshichei, Hayechon, Yomechon, Hayedachol Beis Yisrael, Agolo Ezman Kori, Bimru Amen, Yehei Shemei Rabah, Mubarach, Omei Omayim, Yisbarech, Yishtabach, Yisbarech, Mamvis, Nasei, Doris, Alevis, Halol, Beit Mishar, B'Yichur, Elohim, in Kol, B'Chasam, Tushvachasam, Nechimasa, Ran Bamval, Amen, Yehei Shalom, Rabah, Mishmayim, Tovim, starts as of today and finishes, today is Monday, so it finishes on Sunday.
Tonight, 7 to 9.
7 to 9.
Let's say Shabbos 9 to 11.
9 to 11.
Yeah.
Okay, so Nothing Yenachim Eschem, V'Soshav Elokim Hashem, Hashem Shem, strength, endure, and that from now on we shall have health, and the Torah, that's from a line to the Talmud Compassion.
Turn right on Glen. Postmark, I think, is the first left turn.